Okay, hi. So I'm uploading a really long video right now. I do talk about a lot of things in the beginning, and then I get to card pulls about an hour in. But like with any of my stuff, I would just recommend, if you don't want to spend as much time, putting it into a higher playback speed so that you still get all the information, because even when I kind of lose my trains of thought, I circle back around, and that's part of it. So you obviously will do as you wish, but I do mention something that I received from my guidance system as something that would be important to do, because what I went through after 2012 and some of the darker parts of my life is what a lot of people are going through now. So linking the timelines together is important, as well as helping people, understand that regardless of appearances or what's happening on the outside, we can still be going through stuff. And, you don't owe anybody, you don't have to share when you're going through something, but that it's safe to, and just a lot of stuff will come from doing this. So I'm gonna start with one from 5 years ago. I'm just gonna read it because it's really a prayer. And as I got older, so in the beginning of journaling, my journals were very much just documenting what I was doing, almost obsessive compulsively, multiple times a day, every day, because I was severely bulimic and really struggling and had just a complete web of lies knit together to kind of deceive people from how I actually spent my time. And it was a really, really hard chapter for me. And so I write a lot about that, as well as a lot of really toxic dynamics that I was involved in at the time. And as I get older and as I heal myself, throughout the course of my journals, I start to write more positively despite what's going on, in the form of affirmation and lists. Okay. I had to take a phone call. Look at this. Look at this Fluffy. She's so pretty. All right. Okay, all right. So I said I was gonna start. I'm gonna read one. This one's from 2018, and then I'm gonna go back to 2014, so you can see what that looks like, because that was a pretty intense time for a lot of people in a variety of ways. And there's these bigger cycles that are coming back around with certain planets and stuff. So anyway, okay, I never finished this thought. I got this idea around, through channel, as I do with many ideas from my guidance system, around like using the journals as a map to link together the cycles. But what was crazy about that, if you're not familiar with Hilma af Klint, then you should be. She was born like 100 years ago or earlier, and her work was exhibited at the Guggenheim, and she worked with channeling interdimensional beings in order to create that work. And she knew that the world was not ready for it, and she marked it with symbols so that it would be put away for 20 years until it was going to be on display. So I think I talked about that recently, but I'm not sure if I posted that video or not. Okay, so the message that I got from my guides was like going back to October 10th, 11th, 13th, and 14th, specifically those 4 days, because of 1010, and then there's a new moon solar eclipse on the 14th, I believe. It's gonna be so intense. I can't even tell you guys. Get ready for a lot of stuff. It's good. It's all good. I'm not really sure how feasible it is to do what it is that I said I would do, because of the way that I'm going to be traveling for the next 5 days. I don't want to take all my furniture. I don't want to take my journals with me. I have furniture that I'm going to be bringing back, so I don't want to pack anything more than I need to. But what I'm trying to say is that, there's only so many journals that have specific entries for October for these days. Like this journal, for instance, is only like 3 months. I wrote a lot. So I had to find the ones where it aligned, and then, wouldn't you know, wait, was it this one? Yeah, I'm sorry, it was this one. Okay, So this from 2018, I was saying that I was in a certain class and we just watched a video on Hilma af Klint's retrospective, and I'm so excited to go see it. What a kindred spirit. And then I wrote, I am grounded, safe, and protected, because I started writing things like that a lot more often. And the whole purpose, like seeing myself as a spirit choosing the human experience that I've had, was to experience a lot of challenges when I was younger, so that I could gain certain insights. I see that in a new way. I mean, I've kind of always known that, but I have continued to get distance and time and space from certain events, and I literally don't. There's some things that I'm reading in these that are just really overwhelming because I forgot about those things. And yeah. So I was about to go see Hilma's work for the first time, but I was just trying to highlight the parallel between me getting like a specific assignment basically from my spirit guides to share in a certain way. Can you guys not, maybe? That's going to be happening more and more as far as how I structure the way that I'm sharing. So the synchronicity of it, right? That I was just about to go see her work on October 12th, 5 years ago, or 6 years. Can't keep up with time. Okay. So October 10th, what day is it? Yeah, it's October 4th. All right, this one says, angels, please come around me and support, protect, and ground my energy. I am safe. Thank you for my blessings. Thank you for my gifts. I am welcoming and excited for all of the fabulous opportunities rolling into my life effortlessly. Thank you for these. I am open to and accepting all of these good things coming into my experience now. I am accepting all of the good that is coming to me. I am a voice that is heard. This is so exciting. Angels, please help to surround and protect me. Please help me relax into my blessings. Please help me stay motivated, self-disciplined, and excited for my future and my life. The previous page says, I'm building myself back up to being my best self. Every day I'm better than I was before. And then this one, oh, wait a minute. See, it's very hard to be organized in what I'm doing as well with these. This is back to 2012, okay? I'm not sure how to feel okay. It's interesting. On Twitter today, I saw something from Psychic Quotes that said, happiness is an attitude. You can put your energy towards feeling negatively, or you can put your energy towards feeling good. Either is work, just the same amount. I feel as if everyone's always struggling to be okay, though. We're always looking ahead to Friday and trying to just find something to expect or look forward to. At least that's how I've been. And then I'm also going to share something. This is kind of wild and did not bode well for my mental health, but I was part of this concept art studio when I was a freshman at Carnegie Mellon, and we had to do this experiment with ourselves, which was pretty hardcore, where we couldn't be near our phones, no technology at all. And you had to create some type of closed environment for 30 hours. This was a school assignment. So what I decided to do, I lived in a communal dorm for freshmen, and on the main level, there was, a workout facility, a grand piano, lovely amenities in this place where I lived my freshman year at school. There's a public bathroom there too. I locked myself in it with like food and my journals for 30 hours. No windows, no light. It was, and I journaled the whole time. Okay. So I'll talk about that more at some point, because I kind of had a bad time after that for some reason. Like that was kind of I was not mentally the most stable for a bunch of reasons. I was going through a huge spiritual awakening and a lot of, I know you're bored, baby. Hey. Not yet. Squeaky later. Go to your bed. Thank you. Go on. Muttley. To add to what I was going through by like putting myself into solitary confinement in a bathroom, a public bathroom. I mean, it was a single room, no bigger than, I don't know, 12 by 12 feet with a toilet and a sink. I was like, well, I want to have a toilet. Yeah, weird times. So this passage is not from the Octobers that I'm reading from right now, because I've bookmarked the days October 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th, because I was guided to share from these days. This is from August? September? Yeah, this is from September 11th, I believe, 2012. Okay, so this part of the writing is stream of consciousness, where I was, if you're not familiar with automatic writing or stream of consciousness writing, you just write as fast as you can. You don't really control what it is that you're saying. Lately, it's been a blur, a spiral, something wizards control. I think I'm in love, but only sometimes, as if there is any love out there at all. And then those long and regrettable conversations that we thought we were too mature for. But why isn't it there to show us something? Show me something so I can believe a little bit more. I could not decipher everything I was told, like a Morse code pitter-patter, heard and not seen, like a snake that's low to the ground and blending in always. The problem with trusting people is whatever your reasons could be, because don't we make those calls? Aren't they all slightly opinionated when you really try to understand? I would smile much more often if I had nothing better to do. My time is who I am. You are what you make of yourself. Music can help us release something like a block or a tenseness that we didn't notice cropped up. It's a soul smile or soul sigh or soul sadness, but a release nonetheless, and breathe all the while, please. Then I switched from a pink pen to an orange pen, and I wrote this. Time ticks, it flows, it goes, it likes to take its time, like tourists hand in hand, walking beside the Seine River, pointing out sights to one another and falling in love all over again. There's no need to rush. They'll get there when they get there. And when they do, he'll pull back a chair for her as she takes her seat, a dinner reservation right on time. The wine is the second hand, glasses refilling at the pace of a long, deep conversation, the pace of their lives right now. It's hours later and their plates are cleared, the stars are out, the moment is still theirs, as if a cosmic seal of approval kissed their evening agenda lightly atop the head and watched them lacing fingers. What a sweet reality they did have. I'm going to eat beef jerky now. It really says that. Yeah, I mean, this journal entry is just particularly ridiculous because it goes on for so long, and I'll say something like, it's about half an hour since I last wrote. A new talent is at the piano, because I could hear, like, people would keep coming by and knocking on the door, and I'd be like, it's occupied for 30 hours, sorry. I actually put a sign on the door and said, contact my professor, because he's the one who asked me to do this. But, all right, so, oh dear. This is 2 years after that, and I was still not doing well. This is 2014. And I'll never, mention names. I'm not really at risk of ousting anybody in particular from certain people I was involved with in my past, because, there's just so many things that, there's so many people that I've been connected to that there's no record of ever being connected to them in so many ways. You know what I mean? So it's all anonymous, and I never going to share anything specific about certain things. Okay, but this is what I wrote. I've never seen him have an episode like that. He punched through a door so many times until it was destroyed and his hands were bloody and cut. He collapsed on the ground sobbing and told me he was broken. He yelled at me. He called me a slut. He told me that it's impossible for me to care about him. He kept asking questions and talking over my answers. I can't believe I got to this point. I don't know who I am or how to be. People's laughter from my window is the most foreign sound. It's crazy how much I've been through these past 3 years. I feel completely used up and burnt out. I feel so sad. I don't know why I am so intimidated at the prospect of putting myself out there. I want to have friends, but I feel so challenged because it involves the reclaiming of a life and soul that took all of my people skills with it. I don't know what I'll do or who I'll be or where I'll spend my time. I need to go to sleep and quit these dumbass questions that only make life feel shittier. I wish I could go live at home and sleep in my comfy bed. I'm gonna wake and work out. I am so tired. I don't know where all the pain in my heart is coming from. Isn't it easy to just do things and let them show you things about life? Just right now, I'm thinking about having to get up again and again. It's almost unbearable. Why do I have to do this shit? Angels, please reveal to me a kind place my heart can rest, where a sense of self will reemerge and put forth new drive and will for my soul's journey as Mariah Hill. Please love me in a tangible way. Please bring my heart to the surface again and heal it in the light. That was October 10th, 2014. But when I tell you that I have 17 journals that are full, like, there's a lot of stuff in here. So I still prayed back then and worked with angels and guides. That's been a part of me, as I've talked about, kind of communing with nature, elemental energy that can be considered angels. I do. I posted something on the community page that I wrote about past life memories I have from being a tree. I talked about this in the 3-hour-long video that I recorded, that it was a voice memo. I might not get to that for a little bit, so I'll just say this here. There's this woman named Anneke Lucas, and she's a human trafficking former sex slave, child sex slave survivor. And her story is really interesting, and there's tons of videos or people who have interviewed her, but I only saw the one, and it was posted by a YouTube channel called Soft White Underbelly, and I'll be posting it because I think it's a good story to listen to. She talks about something during this video. I mean, it's a trigger warning, so you can determine whether or not you want to watch it once you see the title and stuff, and based on what I just said. But she's going through a traumatic experience, and she's like 10 years old or something, and she talks about having it be something that her soul couldn't stay in the body to experience, and so she goes out of her body, you know, and she becomes a piece of the fiber in the cloth on the drapery on the window or something. And I too have had an experience where I could not stay in my body for the trauma that I was experiencing, and so I left my body, and instead of becoming a single stitch or fiber, I became a film of atoms in a lateral plane, a 2D plane, that was hanging in the ceiling of the room. So I could see what was happening in the room from every single angle, and I wasn't in my body. And at this point I had had many, I had spiritual experiences, and I knew what it was like to be out of body. And I think about how I felt and what I posted on the community page about the tree vantage point, being able to feel your existence beyond just the 5 senses that we've learned to put so much stock in. It's really important to listen to people who have survived things tell their stories. And so I would recommend that people watch that video, but yeah. Okay, there are certain things that I will be talking about from the journal as well, because I talk a lot about healed sexual energy, femininity, and it's okay to be empowered and sexy as a woman in the world today, but a lot of the ways that we are modeled that behavior, and there's certain things that are like targeting really young girls, really, they're linking sexual appeal to depravity and violence in a lot of cases, and just toxic dynamics. That's why I talk the way that I talk. It's not because I'm like a nun or anything like that. I don't think anybody was thinking that I was, but I'm just saying, I can hear some little voice of some dissenter somewhere being like, but it's fun to go out and blah, blah. Like, I get that. I get all of that. And there are certain passages that I will read from this talking about being in an unhealed, pretty toxic feminine energy myself and going through different things. Not mentioning any names about anybody throughout all space and time, but I have met a lot of people throughout my life. I've probably met more people than the average person would, I think. I feel like I've met lots and lots of people. I wonder how many people I've met. Isn't that interesting to think about? Just the ways that I handled male attention in the past is really, it's not something that I like to think about. It's taken me a long time to heal all of that. So I'm talking about somebody who had previously given me drugs who I didn't know very well, saying he was being super flirty with me. He actually touched my back and swept my hair away from my shoulders and touched my tattoo and leaned forward and whispered, "I love you," in my ear. He has a girlfriend. And then I just write, ha ha ha. That's for another time. But I just kind of wanted to get into these because they will be, like, there are certain things that I would not like to read at all, but that I will. And there are certain things that I cannot read because they compromise, you know, other people's anonymity. And the purpose of doing this too is, I think, to just give my own, not that we need to, I really want to not talk about specific certain traumatic things. I would much rather talk about the fact that everybody is traumatized. It's hard not to be. This world traumatizes us. And there's a lot of collective things that are traumatizing to go through. And then we all have our individual, you know, stuff. And healing is kind of cast into this like therapeutic, it's not healing. It's just trying to get back to having an access to feeling okay, you know. A lot of people don't. And from that brief, you know, snippet, and if you know, been following along for a while, I was once very, very, very unhappy, very unwell, and not the best person, you know. I've always tried to have good intentions in my heart, but I've made some really bad decisions that have hurt a lot of people, and that hurt me. And I've learned from all of it, okay? I'm not trying to say that I'm perfect, but yeah, a part of me just wants to give my journals to a talented person and have them make some ridiculous film. But like, I think a lot of people could say that even if they haven't kept a record of their experiences or been somebody who journals. I truly believe that all the stuff we see on, like, you know, in movies and everything, truth is stranger than fiction, and that's why it's important to kind of like be in a storytelling space. And I mentioned this a few videos ago around like coming back to storytelling and communing with people to help corroborate our own experiences and versions of reality, because it lives in here. All right, folks, be well. I'm in a weird mood today. Sorry for no apologies. I'll just leave it at that. Hope everyone's good.